Hello, and welcome back to this Friday Junior edition of Off the Desk. I'm Kaylee Collins.
And I'm Julia O'Keefe. Yes, thanks for being with us today. And also a huge thank you to our special guest this morning, Sarah and Areta. Thank you for being with us. We're so happy to have you guys back.
Thanks for having us again.
Same.
Good to be back.
Right.
Good to have you guys back. So, last week we got an introduction to Areta and Sarah. If you haven't already seen them on 22 News, they're two reporters who are out in the field running around doing a bunch of different stories, different topics. So I'm sure you've seen their faces, but it's new here to the Plus channel. So get used to seeing them. They're going to be having their own show in just a couple of weeks now, after we do a couple of more appearances here on Off the Desk. So we figured that today would be a good time for you guys to maybe go a little deeper into what your show is going to be all about. You can talk to us about the planned structure for your show, guests, anything that, you have an idea for moving forward.
Yeah.
All right.
I think for us, we've been so focused on getting guests that are meaningful to us, whether they are inspiring, whether they're doing cool work. Again, people who we did stories with, who we didn't get to do a follow-up or kind of finish that kind of connection with. So I feel like for us, we have a lot of guests. As in the structure of the podcast, I think that's where we're going to kind of cater it to the guests, like whether if they like sports, we have someone who's, working on some cool things for kids in sports. So, have some photos come up and some videos and like what they're working on and kind of cater each episode to the guest. And I think that's kind of where our podcast is going to be a little different. And I don't know if you want to talk more about.
Yeah, I was going to say too, if you guys ever watch In Focus by Patrick, he brings in a lot of guests. So that's kind of what our structure is going to look like as well. But our first couple of episodes are just getting to know us so that viewers who haven't seen us on the news cast will be able to get to know us more through the podcast as well.
Yeah, and we just got our final logo. And I think that it looks so good and it matches both. We had some inspiration, but I think that Dave Kostecki and Sean, they really put everything that we were looking for into this one logo. We're really proud of it. We're really proud of it. And I was like, wait, this actually looks really, really good. And we were really proud of it.
Definitely.
And it's called Echoes of Us. We didn't mention that.
Cool.
So called Echoes of Us. Again, things that resonate with us, whether it's, we want to focus on guests of color, not limited to guests of color, but I think we just want to focus on communities that don't really get as much spotlight. And I think that we have a really good look. You want to start with some of the people?
All right. So one person that we do have is Chef Wayne, his wife, actually. So Chef Wayne recently passed away. He was the owner of Big Mamu. It's like a New Orleans type of style of food. I actually ate there last night and I had to try it out before I bring them on as well, too.
Yeah.
Also, we did a story on them, and I feel like that would be a perfect person. This is the first time she's actually speaking out after her husband passed away. This is like gradually getting into like just hearing about her story and her life and how she's continuing his legacy. And even like the owner of the new restaurant, he was very, very polite and very caring and just wanting to live up his legacy as well. So we have his wife coming on. Do you want to go ahead? Jump off.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Attorney General Andrea Campbell is coming on Zoom on the 20 on Zoom. That's pretty good. On the 23rd, she was here a month or two ago. I was doing a story about renters' rights, and it was with the whole Springfield Garden situation of tenants and their conditions were very poor. And I interviewed her and I kind of spoke to her about the renters' rights. I mean, she has a whole guide about what renters need to know before they get into all of the housing stuff. And so when she said she was interested, I was like, a new podcast coming in and the AT wants to come on. So we're going to have her on Zoom on the 23rd and we're super excited to talk about that and also get to know her as a person. I mean, we just know her as the attorney. I just know her as the Attorney General. So like where she grew up and like kind of getting into the background of her family. So would love to know a little bit more about her personally because I feel like we only think about people in their roles and I think we want to go deeper than that.
That's cool.
And then we are stepping up a notch. We will be having Ruth Carter as a guest as well.
Wow. You just did a story with her, right?
Yes, that's awesome.
It was awesome.
It's crazy how I even got her. Like I thought it was impossible, but I got her and then happened to just ask her like, hey, we have a podcast that is launching. Would you like to be a guest? And she was like, yes. Like usually, I don't know, for me, when I meet Hollywood celebrities, they're very stuck up, but she was so humble. I'm sorry. You're being a lot. You got a lot of celebrities. I'm sorry. She's very humble. And I think because she's been in the industry for so long. And so the fact that she was just so like eager to do it. She's like,
Yeah.
yes. So she'll be on Zoom as well, but she'll be a guest as well. So I'm excited about
People
that.
making time for us. We're like,
I know.
we're like, okay, we kind of got this. Small businesses. I mean, we can't just think about these big figures. We have to
Hollywood
also.
celebrities.
I know, okay, Sarah. Okay, Sarah. Oh my gosh, we also have some small
Take that part
business
out
owners.
again.
We also have some small business owners. There's this place I selfishly go to for dessert. It's called Sunrise Sweets in Chicopee. And it's next to Pizzolino, which I did a story on. And I go there all the time with my friends, with my boyfriend, and it's like shakes and different like tiramisu and like strawberry shortcake.
Ooh,
And they're
yeah.
like it's a thick consistency, so it's like I don't like a milky milkshake. And they write words of affirmations on every cup.
Oh,
And it's the
that's
cutest thing
nice.
ever. It's all about empowerment and things like that. And the owner, Savannah, I spoke to her last time I went because I still get ice cream and shakes in the cold. Don't judge me. But she was very interested. She wants to come on. And she's actually moving locations. Mayorview just told me yesterday. So
Wow.
yeah, she's moving to a bigger location right next door.
Okay.
But yeah,
Must be so close.
I know. And
You don't have to travel
you
far.
guys should definitely try Sunrise
I was
Sweets.
gonna say, you know the best spots for like
Okay.
shakes and stuff.
Yeah, I'm still trying to try new places, but she's also someone who will be coming on the podcast. So we have a
Cool.
variety.
Right, definitely.
Champ.
Yeah, okay. So Areta did mention this. So we know an NBA draft pick for the Boston Celtics. His name is Champ. He is actually now just a coach for middle school basketball players right now. But he is trying to invent a shooting accuracy device that helps just basketball levels on, I would say all basketball levels, just with their shooting skills. So he's inventing that, but he's wanting to come on and just speak on how he's wanting to focus on the schools first and then get up to like the NBA level and stuff like that. So that's pretty
Wow.
cool.
Yeah, we met him.
Yeah.
I think we were tag teaming. We were sharing a photog, and I was just like lurking at her story, and I was like, oh, like in their conversation. So again, I think that we have a variety, but we want also people who work here. We're gonna have Ciara.
Love those guests.
We're gonna have evening anchor Ciara Speller on. Simeon.
Mhm.
Sim.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a photog. Sim. I don't know if I like asked him or told him. I was like, Sim, we would love you on the podcast. Yeah, so he's
so fun.
interested. So people who work here too,
Yeah.
we definitely want to have come on. You
Cool.
guys
I
too,
I was gonna
man.
say, if you got
I know
later in the day, maybe.
I know you're
That's
off
all
on the
you
day
gotta
for
say.
recording, but
We've made this work too. So
right,
I mean,
right. I
Yeah,
think it's a good
this
compromise.
works.
But yeah, that's
Yeah.
just like a little tease.
Yeah.
to
It sounds
guests.
really great. It sounds
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you're putting in the work to get some really great guests. And I think that, people will want to hear from those people and hear their experiences.
Absolutely.
And I don't know, just open up the conversation. Like you said, this particular platform, which we've even noticed in Julia and I, our personalities, I guess, it gives us a platform to kind of show a little bit more of
Yeah.
ourselves,
Yeah.
who we are, like you mentioned before. So you guys will get to dive into exploring who people are
Definitely.
outside of their roles, like
Yeah.
you were saying. And it sounds like you've got some really great, interesting people based off of their jobs and what they do in the community here, but also to then expose them to the community and who they are
Yeah.
outside of their roles too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it definitely is the Plus channel in general kind of expands our reach in that sense, which is really cool.
Yeah, we could have
Absolutely.
easily done like just me and Sarah yapping 24/7. We will have episodes like just us. Right, we could yap all day, but we're also like we want to like bring people into
Right.
that. So
Yeah, and
um,
especially because, so your show, it's going to be once every other week, right? Is that what the plan
yeah,
is?
but I think with the amount of guests that we do have confirmed, we're like, okay,
You could maybe
Speed
we
it
could
up.
do every
Yeah.
so
week,
it
so
could be
it's up in
bi-weekly,
the air.
completely, yeah.
But that gives you time, in between shows to really, I guess, polish, so to speak, and prepare and, pick the most meaningful parts of your interviews and things like that. So that's really exciting. And I do like the whole idea of continuing conversations with people that you've met out in the field,
Right.
because
that's great.
that not only do you then get to have that conversation, but it shows from a reporter standpoint and from the news aspect of everything that you are making a connection every single time you do a story, whether it's even just someone that you find for MOS outside of a Stop and
Right.
Shop. It's still like, you're meeting people out there, so many people every day, and you are having meaningful conversations that need a space like this to continue. So good job, guys.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Exciting. We're excited to see how it all
Yeah.
plays out.
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break here and then come back and hear a little bit more about your plans for the show, and then maybe a little bit more about you as well.
Exciting.
So,
Love that. All right.
we'll be right back.
Stick with us.
right, and we're back on this Thursday morning. Another exciting edition of Off the Desk with Aretta and Sarah joining us here this morning. Thanks, guys, again for being here.
Thanks for having us. We
Of
love it.
course. It's been so fun to hear about your plans for Echoes of Us. That's the name.
Yeah, you got it right. It has a
Cool.
nice ring to it,
It has
doesn't
a
it?
little-
Yes.
And it sounds like it's going to be very exciting. We're definitely going to be tuning in. So, can you tell us a little bit more about? I know you went into detail about the guests that you're going to have on, but maybe a little bit more about the topics you hope to explore, overall goals for your show, where you kind of are right now when you're getting started, and maybe goals for when
what's
you
next?
go to grow.
Yeah. So, well, let's quickly start from the beginning. How did we even decide we wanted a podcast? I feel like for me personally, I've always wanted a podcast. I always record. I'm actually filming a vlog right now on TikTok. But just I always loved recording. I would upload things to Spotify and like do my own stuff. And I'm like, you know what? Like, there's a dual platform here at the station, and we were at our staff meeting, and Bob was talking about, you know, that anyone can do a podcast. Doesn't matter if you're in production. Doesn't matter if you're in anyone can do a podcast. And Sarah and I went to Sarah. I said, Sarah, I think we'd be a good team, and she was quite quickly convinced. So I think that really just kind of went up from there.
Definitely. And then from there, we had to like contact the general manager, the news director, the assignment editor. It's a lot of people that you have to communicate with before you actually set the groundworks of like all of this. So the fact that we both were like still communicating with everybody on top of like our reporting schedule, it just showed that like we were passionate about wanting to bring this to the 22 News Plus app. So I'm proud that we actually did it. Now it's the
training. It's not just all talks and talking and yapping with people, but also the technical stuff.
Right. There's a lot of
the
buttons.
system. And the buttons, it's like you guys got
a lot of buttons that you guys don't see.
Right. We have talked about this on Off the Desk before about a little bit of the system that we use, the OBS system, that allows us to record these episodes and learning the system. You guys, like everyone who's come on Off the Desk and who's kind of launched their own show, and we've shown them the basics. We have the basics set out so that it makes it a little bit of a smoother transition for people who are getting started. And then once you learn it, just like anything else, when you guys first started here as reporters, when I first started here, you learn the system that we use for our rundowns, which is ENPS.
Oh, that
when I first started here a couple years ago, it was iNews, which was a whole different platform. Kind of like if you're using Microsoft Word versus using Excel or whatever.
Like Google Docs.
It can be overwhelming if you don't know anything about it, and then you start playing around with it and practicing, and then it becomes kind of like second nature.
Which is
wow. That was good.
You start to say the same thing as your co-host at the same time.
It's crazy. But yeah, so once you guys play around with the OBS system a little bit, and you have this kind of layout that you can use to get started, and then make your own as you incorporate more guests, and you can do different camera shots. We did just recently get new cameras in here as well, which
they look
has
quite
been really
nice.
great. They do look quite nice, and they have more flexibility with different shots as far as zoom and pan and tilt and things like that. So it really kind of exposes you to a whole different skill set that you'll be able to do on top of your podcasting and speaking in a different type of way than maybe you do on the news. You have these behind the scenes skills where you can get a little bit more technical, and obviously that'll help you in any aspect of life and wherever you go from here type of thing in your career. But yeah, so I have no doubt that you guys, once you start coming in here and learning it a little bit, we'll pick it up and then from there.
So question for you, what would you say is what was the hardest part of like learning the system?
Well, for me, when I came back and I started this was very early in its infancy. So no one in the building really knew what this system was.
Kaylee is the queen of OBS.
Hardly, no.
Okay, but it was back in April when you just got here.
Yes.
I was still out in the field. I was still reporting.
Yes.
So we would anchor in the mornings sometimes, or I would report when Rich was still here.
Yeah.
And then I would go do a story, and Kaylee would come in here and sit in here and master the system.
Wow.
So we all have to thank Kaylee for the work she put in, because then she taught me.
But hardly, because now it's so funny. It's one of those things like I think back to when you're in school and you're studying really hard for a particular test, and you know all the stuff leading up to the test, then you take the test and then you stop looking at it and you don't really study it, and then you're like, I know I knew this. Where did that information go? It's kind of similar with OBS, aside from the basics, because the way that Julia and I have set up our show is we had the setup. We keep it kind of basic because we're in here, every day talking about different things. That when I go back to add something in, it's kind of like, oh, I need a refresher. So the good news is we had a little bit of a tutorial and help from someone in Nexstar, our company here, who is an OBS expert, someone who's been using this system for years
like
and
thousands of places,
is passionate about it and like loves it. So that was offered through to like all Nexstar stations who were, using a Plus app and using the OBS system in order to launch that. And then there's plenty of people who are online, like on YouTube, and who make different videos that have tutorials, just like anything else. If you were learning how to, like, our video editing software we use is Adobe Premiere. So when I first started using Adobe Premiere, I would just go to YouTube and say, how do I fix the,
audio
on Premiere? Like, you do the same thing for OBS. So I'm definitely happy to help when people have questions as much as I can. But it was, for me, just setting up the basic I guess like
show like
just to like run
like
down
slide
almost.
deck almost, because it gave us, there's so many things that you can do in OBS, and we quickly realized, it was overwhelming, and we quickly realized that we didn't need to do or want to do all that. Like, our show is supposed to be the casual sit down, talk, pull up some clips or videos every once in a while. And so we got rid of everything that we didn't need. So that made it a lot easier.
But that was a long answer to your question. The short answer is it's not that difficult. Once you come in here and you have a question about something, there are more people in the building now that can answer your question, and you can go online for resources as well. And we can help you too.
Yeah.
So
appreciate that. Yeah.
No problem. But yeah, it is a lot of moving parts, but I think that once you guys get going, like I said before, it'll be smooth sailing and
find that balance. Between our stories. And
so I have another question. How long did it take you to learn everything?
It was a good few weeks.
Okay.
Here, yeah. But then I think I said this to you guys. I don't know if it was the last time we recorded it or if it was when we were off the desk. Off
the desk.
Yeah. Because you two have had experience working, in front of the camera, and you're comfortable talking in front of people and talking in front of a camera, I think that helps with a transition into doing a podcast style show where you're recorded as well. Because you won't have to worry so much about how you're going to talk and maybe figuring that portion of it out on top of like the technical stuff that maybe some people who aren't as comfortable or familiar, like Lindsay, when she was on, was like so nervous at first, and we're like, just be yourself.
Talk.
Like,
she's
talk
the most
in front
one of
the
the most outgoing people I know. Exactly.
Yes.
We're like,
and she did a great job. But like, that was something that she was like, I'm focusing on just talking on camera first, and then I'm gonna focus on these other aspects of the show. So I think that that'll help you guys as far as the timeline of, planning your show and getting familiar with the OBS system itself. Is you won't have to worry as much about, how you're gonna be on camera type of thing, or what you're gonna speak about, the cadence of your voice and things like that. Although we've said it, is definitely a different, because it's a different platform. It's a different feel than when you're talking on camera for broadcast.
Absolutely.
You could be a little bit more casual, and you guys mentioned that too, even with your guests, how you want to be and everything too.
Yeah.
But I think that it won't take you very long.
No. And I think having a guest and themes that you're going to focus every episode on, and, planning the whole week for the one episode is going to be really helpful too. Cause there are some days where like content planning is the hardest thing for us. And
what are we going to talk about?
We're looking for trending headlines, and we've already exhausted the headlines of the week. And then it's like, okay, like last week we ended up talking about our braces journeys and whether or not we should still wear our retainers. So,
I do not wear mine.
Things I do mine 3 nights a week, but anyway, so crazy. Well, like it's honestly like if you were to put a bunch of random words in a hat and we had to pull one out, like that could honestly help with our content.
That's fun. You guys should try that next time.
Maybe. When we have the Tuesday tires, it's not Monday.
Yeah.
Like Monday's tough because you have the Mondays or whatever, but then you do your weekend recap and it fills the time. Then Tuesday tires, you hit a little, that's yeah. So you guys having like focused content episodes, I think is going to be really beneficial, especially because you're already so excited about your guests. You're not even going to have to scratch the back of your brain to figure out what you're going to say.
Letting it be guest driven.
Yeah. It's going to be great.
So we're going to have a little preview of like kind of what we want to talk about, or like, stories we can kind of connect to. So
for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. All right.
Time for another break.
Good job, guys.
All right.
All right, welcome back to our last few minutes of Off the Desk. Thank you to Aretta and Sarah for being with us today. Happy Friday, Junior.
Friday Junior.
Friday Junior.
My Friday.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, I didn't like that.
Yeah,
Cool.
so it's been fun this morning hearing a little bit more about your plans for the show. We'll have you guys on a couple more times before the official launch, but I guess how are you feeling about getting closer to,
Launch date.
getting to do this? Yeah.
I feel like we've been working on this since Thanksgiving-ish.
Yeah.
So now we're like, okay, first of all, went by very fast. And now that we're here, we're like, okay, it's time to lock in. It's time to lock in with our guests, having an actual schedule, how we're gonna lay things out. I think we have a working Word document of the order we want people in and just kind of confirm, not confirm, things like that. So we can stay organized, because staying organized is gonna be key, because obviously we have so much going on with reporting,
Right.
and other things that we just need to find, maybe a meeting time.
Something.
Cool.
Meeting time, a quick phone call or something to kind of
There you
just
go.
really prioritize put the podcast.
Yeah. I would say for me, I'm excited but a bit nervous. Just because of the systems that we have to control at the same time as engaging with the guests. But that's the only thing. But I feel like as soon as I get the hang of the systems, then I'll be confident.
Yeah,
You
we will.
will.
Absolutely, you will. And I think, guests will understand that, this is a new system and it's new to you guys. So if there are things that, you forget to hit a button or whatever, it's okay.
I'll just say I'm working for you for the first time.
I love that.
They're just happy to be able to have the conversation with you, and that you guys are
not like
giving
you're-
them the platform to do so.
It's not like you're dealing with any stuck-up Hollywood celebrities.
Sarah, you're never gonna let that down. That is too funny.
That was a good one. That was a good one. That was smooth.
Too funny.
It's the best comeback.
You do this enough every day. You have to think quick.
Yeah, no, I love it.
I guess a final question, something to think about, let's say a year from now, and you guys have been doing this for quite a while. What do you hope that you get out of it? Whether it's in improving your relationship, interacting with the guests, or whatever you're going to learn, something down that when you look down the line.
That's a good question. Do you want to answer?
I feel like for me, it's going to be a personal and a professional journey. I think for me, personally, I'm going to learn a lot about myself, maybe things that, maybe flaws, stuff I need to work on, but also just learning more about how I operate under pressure. And, you see that in reporting, but I feel like this is a different platform where I'm going to learn even more about myself. And then professionally, this is just going to be another cherry on top to all the stuff we've been doing, anchoring, reporting, and things like that. So, yeah.
Now I would add on to that too, because right. For me, I think for in the news world, I've been trying to perfect my live shot skills. Just improvising and not following a script. And I feel like this is going to help me with that part that I want to work on as a reporter and stuff like that too. So yeah,
It absolutely will.
Yeah.
100%. We've noticed that even because, like I said, this gives you a space to kind of just chat, be a little bit more yourself, which that for me, when I was first getting started reporting, was a good piece of advice that I had received, was try to be yourself on camera. Talk like you talk in person. You know what I mean? Like how you would talk to a friend is how you want to talk to the viewer. Obviously by still being professional and presenting the news, but when you are yourself, it just comes out more authentically.
Right.
That helps you. So doing this, it really will prepare you for getting back in front of the camera for broadcast. You'll be like, I got this.
Okay. Yeah.
Authentic,
Tell your story. You got
authentic was a
this.
great word for that, because I feel like
Yes.
that's what
Yeah.
this podcast should be,
Yeah,
for sure.
I agree 100%. Yeah, kind of similarly. I had a family friend when I first started here, watched me on the news and say, Julia, you're so serious out there. You're so serious. That's not you. And then it's like, well, when you're reporting professionally and it's a serious topic, you're going to be serious. And then I'll do a weather live and that gets to come out. And it's a little more exciting when you get to, have the contrast of serious news and then weather or a more fun story like that. And then this is a place where you get a mix of both of that.
Yes.
And there's no script. So it's authentically you, inherently, because the notes that I have on my paper are 6 words.
Yeah,
and
no,
it's Harry Styles tickets. It's not It's not like that.
Bullets.
So Weather Wednesday. So it's a good mix because you get to explore all those different facets.
Yeah.
Very excited.
It'll be great. We can't wait to see what you guys do. It sounds like it's going to be very exciting. It was cool to hear a little bit more about your guests, and I'm sure as the next week and next 2 weeks go on, you'll have even more guests, more ideas for your show as you continue planning and prepping. So we can't wait to hear about it, and we'll have you on again sometime next week.
sometime
And if
next
you guys have any ideas for us, let us know as well. Like
Yeah, we're
any
just
guest,
yeah, recommendations.
yeah,
Yeah. A lot of people helped us in this.
You know where our desks are.
Very close. Couple steps away.
All right. Happy Friday, Junior, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow.
For Real
and
Friday.
Have a Retta and Sarah back next week.
Bye.
Bye.